Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So today what I want to do is take a look at copper aluminum radiators. Find them in air conditioners, dehumidifiers, and they are a great scrappable material. What I want to do today is answer the question, are they worth taking apart and separating the aluminum from the copper and selling them individually as separate metals? Or if it's better just to leave intact and sell as a copper aluminum radiator. The nice thing about these copper aluminum radiators are they come in different sizes, different shapes, and they are very heavy. This one came out of an air conditioner. This in its entirety weighs 5 pounds. And the nice thing about them at a scrapyard, they are paid per poundage. Currently right now in London, Ontario, Canada, they are going for about $2.26 a pound, which is nice. And what I've done is I've actually taken one of them apart, I've weighed it, I've separated the copper and the aluminum to see how much difference in profit I'm going to make. And I also have to factor in time. So the first thing I do need to say, however, before I get started is they do come in different varieties. Some of them, if you were to look at the metallic part, sometimes they are steel. So the first thing you do want to do is run a magnet by it. As you can see, it does not stick. So this is aluminum. Some I have seen, if you put a magnet to it and it sticks, instead of the aluminum fins you see here, they are steel. So you do want to be careful of those. So there are different categories. These, as I said, $2.26 a pound are for copper aluminum radiators, which this is. And I've already actually taken off, this is a smaller version. As you can see, the top of the coils have been taken off because the other part of my experiment is instead of taking out the inner coils of copper that you see in here, if it's worth just how much money I can make just from the outer coating of copper from the coils. So that is part of the experiment too. And the other thing, if I take this up to the camera, there are a couple different categories on this if I take it apart. There is metal, right here. There is a steel plate, as you can see, at the top and the bottom. So that is going to go into tin shred. There is actually two different types of copper, or categories, on the outer. So the top here, you can see there is soldering. This copper would actually go for number 2 copper, which is currently $4.30 a pound. On the other side, you can see there is no soldering on these coils. This copper is going to go for number 1 copper, which is currently $4.60 a pound. So 30 cents higher. And someone may say, well, it does have different material inside of it. There was a gas, there is a liquid. It should be a number 2. Before I bring this in, I do soak it. I will actually use vinegar and I will just clean it off. It will get rid of the oil and I will actually put it into my, or oil residue, and I will put it into my number 1. So that's not a problem. The other thing you do have to watch is if you decide to take these apart, or once you cut the copper, you do want to make sure that you either have sand down in your workshop or you do put some type of a towel, because there is going to be remnants of a liquid inside. Sometimes it's, you know, if the gentleman or people that come and flush the radiators doesn't get all of it, there are sometimes a couple drips. So you do want to make sure you put something down to prevent any type of spill in your garage. As well as you will see it or feel it on your hands. So sometimes it's a better idea to wear gloves as well. So as I said, for this experiment, I used a 5-pound radiator that did have, just like this one, a little bit bigger, but it did have the steel, it had the copper coils, and again, the question is if it is worth taking out the coils that run all the way down. So $5 or 5 pounds at $2.26. If I was to bring it in as is, it would give me $11.53. So that's pretty nice. And as I said, the air conditioner that I took this out of had 2 of them. So a great profit right there in terms of scrap value. Okay, so $11.53. As you can see on the table here, the first thing I did was I cut the number 1 coils. Okay, so these are my number 1. As you can see, no soldering on these. These are the outer prongs that I have, and they didn't weigh much. I only actually got, I think, 0.3 ounces from this. I have already weighed it. As you can see, once I removed all of the aluminum, these are the coils that come through. Some of them are very nice and shiny. Some of them are a little more tarnished. Again, these, it does not matter how shiny these are. At a scrapyard, all copper tubing is going to go for either number 1 copper or number 2. This is going to be number 1. As I said, it's free of soldering. I will clean off the excess oil or liquid on there, so it will be clean. Again, bare bright only pertains to copper wires, so this is not going to be bare bright. Doesn't matter how bright it is. And I have already weighed it. As you can see, there is actually quite a lot of them, which is nice. And it actually gave me a weight of 2¼ pounds of number 1 copper. So times that by $4.60, it gave me $10.35 just from number 1 copper. The second part, after removing the side that has the soldered coils, which you can see right here, I've taken them off. If we bring them up to the camera, there's some soldering. I could, if I really wanted to, cut a little bit off that and take the rest, but for me, it's not worth my grinding disc. It's not worth the hassle. So this is all number 2. And as you can see on the table there is a nice pile of coils there. It gave me 4 ounces. So 4 ounces times $4.30 a pound. I got $1.72 there. The steel that came off of that, there's not much, but it does add up. Currently, steel right now is going for about 10 to 13 cents a pound. There is only, how much do I have here? About 6 cents worth. There's about half a pound here. So not much, but again, 6 cents is better than nothing, and it's better than going to the landfill. And lastly, my aluminum. This is the aluminum that comes off of here. And I am going to have an upcoming video showing how to take the aluminum off. It does take a little bit of work, but one piece of advice that came in handy for me and I use is I actually put a blanket down when I'm taking out the copper. The aluminum coils do go on the floor and on my workbench and stuff, so the nice thing is I just caught it all with a blanket. I was able to pour it into a bucket. And as you can see, this is the aluminum. This is 2 pounds. And this aluminum at a scrapyard is probably going to go for clean aluminum, which is about 60 cents a pound. So $1.20 here worth of aluminum. The other thing I do want to say is when you are working with these, piece of advice for safety reasons for yourself, these fins are sharp and they can potentially or easily cut you. So wearing gloves, wearing eye protection, definitely important thing, especially when you are taking out the copper coils. Some of the aluminum was bouncing off or, ricocheting off, so please be careful of that. But as I said, 2 pounds here. So my grand total, if I factored in the $10.35 for the number 1 copper, the number 2 copper at $1.72, the clean aluminum for $1.20, and the 6 cents for the steel, I have a grand total of $13.33, which gives me a profit of $1.80. In my opinion, it is not worth your time. Very messy, as I said. It took me a good hour to get the copper out of there. Again, it was messy. I do have a small little pool on my floor that I missed the blanket with, so it did kind of mess up my garage a little bit. So in my opinion, not worth it. You know, for an extra $1.50, I would rather, you know, work on something else. So again, entirely up to you, but in my opinion, definitely not worth it. I was curious as a scrapper. I was curious to find out the answer. Hopefully that answered the question. Although I do know there are some people that will strip everything for the copper. And as I said, an upcoming video, I will show how to do that safely and effectively. So if you're interested, go check that one out. Hope that answered the question. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.